Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam, introducing you guys to a new video posted by my buddy over at StreetCap1, which, by the way, I want to talk to you guys about something that recently happened to him, and we'll get to it in just a minute. But first, an amazing capture taken from the Soho camera. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Soho is one of many satellites that are currently orbiting our sun. They're sitting out there as we speak, taking photograph after photograph, using a set of various instruments in order to observe our sun, the weather of said, and its overall activity. But over the years, as you've probably seen on my channel and channels like StreetCaps, we have detected some very anomalous activity happening around our sun. For years now, it has been my theory, and the theory of many people, that there are alien spacecraft, as in spacecraft that are not ours, that have been visiting our sun for some reason, whether it's to observe it, but more likely to siphon energy from it. And in this new clip featured by StreetCap, we have an amazing capture of what looks literally like two artificial craft having a meetup near our sun, captured plain as day on the Soho camera, where, as you're seeing here, we have two objects that do not look like asteroids or comets or glitches or anything like that. First, we have this one here that almost looks like a swan, but it does look like a thin saucer-like craft with an object protruding up from it, where just above we see another craft that almost looks like it's meeting up with this one. You know, it kind of looks like when we do refuelings here on Earth, where we'll have one aircraft flying above the other. They will release the gas line, and this is how they will do a mid-air refueling. And it looks very similar to what we're seeing here. Now, of course, if there's an advanced race out there with the ability to traverse star systems, that they likely probably wouldn't be using gasoline. But we're just using that for context and not saying that that's actually what they're doing. So whatever is happening here, it does look like for a moment we have caught a glimpse of two artificial looking objects passing by in view of the Soho camera, and whether this is some sort of meetup, whatever's happening here I think is irrelevant. And what is truly amazing is the artificial nature of these two objects, specifically the one here with this artificial-like arm coming out of it, curving to the right. I mean, it even has shadowing and lighting to it, so this really does look like a three-dimensional object. So I wanted to see what you guys thought. Amazing capture. We have been seeing these things for years now because, as NASA has found out pretty quick, as did we, the moment you put a camera in space, you're going to start capturing activity. It doesn't matter how fast you turn the satellite away or shut it off or cut the feed or tilt the camera away, you are going to capture it. And we've displayed that on the channel time and time again. Now, there was another great finding over the past couple of weeks by another UFO research channel called Mayenhausen74, and we featured his findings many times in the past as well. It's been a while though. But when I saw this, I said, well, this definitely links to the footage we just showed from StreetCap, where once again, after reviewing some of the footage captured by the satellites watching our sun, he detected two more of these artificial-looking objects that, after further examination, look eerily similar to some of the ancient aircraft that have been found chiseled on a wall panel on the side of an Egyptian temple. And you're seeing that here. So this is a video from Mayenhausen74 where we have the first object that looks very similar to an aircraft we would find on Earth. Same shape as a jet, we have a tail in the back, and something that looks to be dropping from below it. Now, when compared to one of the symbols on the side of this ancient Egyptian temple, which many people believe to be ancient aircraft, you will quickly see the similarities between the two in this side-by-side comparison. And on a side note here, if you don't know about this Egyptian panel here, this thing truly is an enigma, and that is because it displays some very artificial and familiar looking drawings of what can only be described as modern aircraft, where we have some disc-shaped objects, we have some plane-shaped objects with tails, we even have what looks to be a helicopter. And mind you, these things were chiseled into this panel thousands of years ago, and so I ask you, how would they know that aircraft like this would exist thousands of years later if they didn't already have it, or at least had seen it at the time that they were created? So just let your clock tick on that for a minute as we go to the next object that was discovered, which you're seeing here. It's definitely a much more anomalous, abstract shape, but does share similarities to yet another object found on this Egyptian temple wall. Again, you're seeing the side-by-side comparison provided by Mayenhausen 74, where again there is some similarity. Now, I'm not totally sure that this is the object we're seeing. It seems to be a bit of a stretch, but that's not to say this isn't definitely an anomalous finding. And, you know, my favorite is the first one, which looks very close to our typical modern fighter jets or airplanes that we see every day. And, you know, I think honestly it's obvious that this camera that's watching the sun is regularly capturing these interstellar craft that are passing by in the distance. Sometimes they interact with our sun. We have found them siphoning energy from our very sun, and that goes to our most recent video where we were talking about Tabby's star, which is the enigmatic star, the light from which is dimming more and more every day. And something is obviously blocking that light, with many scientists, respected people, theorizing, and really with no choice, coming to the conclusion that something is being built around it. So one can only put two and two together and say, well, if we have stars that are light years away, that are displaying anomalous activity around them, why not ours? And that activity is plain to see, especially if you followed my channel, or really any of the channels like this one that have done great work in locating and documenting this anomalous activity happening around our sun. So kudos and big thanks to Mayenhausen 74. I'll put a link to his channel down in the video description. And big thanks to StreetCap1, who, by the way, just before we end today's video, I want to talk about the fact that, the other day I had received a message from StreetCap, with whom I regularly talk to, and he indicated to me that he had received his very first death threat. Not kidding at all, not joking. He showed me the screen grab of it, and he even posted a video about it, which you can find on his channel. But in a nutshell, he got a message that said, quote, "Let this be a fair warning. Stop your research immediately. Close your channels and tap out of it. We won't warn you a second time." And so, Scott, who's fairly new to this research and really hasn't had to deal with the type of hate and vitriol that we have here on Secureteam over the years, was kind of stunned to see this. And I agree, it can be frightening when you get your very first death threat. But I assured him that it was likely just a prankster or a hater. I get messages like this every day. I mean, they are a dime a dozen, and you just have to ignore them. But we don't want StreetCap to think that he's in danger, and I want him to know that we have his back. So, StreetCap, keep going. We recently lost another researcher, Scott C. Waring, recently ended his UFOsightingsdaily.com website. Well, it's still up, but he's no longer posting after running the site for over 7 years. We're trying to figure out why he left. He left a very vague reason for why he's leaving, but, lately it seems like we've been seeing UFO researchers drop like flies. And I do mean literally drop like flies. Some of them are no longer with us. So when you are discussing and investigating a highly secretive and protected topic like this, you are always going to get people who are trying to scare you, put the fear into you, so you will stop what you are doing. I have experienced it more times than I care to count. I simply ignore it. I am a registered firearm owner, and my family is always protected, so there are never any worries there. And to those haters out there who continue to try to slander or threaten channels like ours, all I have to say is that you better bring your lunch, because we are not going anywhere anytime soon. Alright, Brosif, so you guys keep up the good fight, and we're going to stay here every step of the way. So with that, thank you guys for stopping by today. Big thanks to StreetCap, show him your support, and we will see you back in just a bit. So enjoy your night, and stay safe.